Okay, we got Marco's second prop bet coming up. Marco's doing 3. What's your second prop bet?
Well, there's a prop out there. Will there be a defensive or special teams touchdown scored in the Super Bowl? And I'm going to say yes, and we're getting $1.45 back on this wager. So we put up 100, we're going to win 145 if we cash this one. And
All right, so I've got to tell you, Dustin, get ready with the head-to-head on this one. I don't like this one, so I will give you a chance to explain yourself.
Okay.
But I may interrupt at any time.
That would be
Just
nothing. That would be nothing new to the
Just
viewing audience.
Just because you have a Steelers tie doesn't mean I owe it to the audience when you call BS when necessary.
Well, we'll do that. What I'm looking at, first of all, there's not a defensive team in football that is more opportunistic than the Pittsburgh Steelers when they get a turnover. And how many times you've seen Troy with an interception that ends up going the distance? I mean,
you're on a first-name basis with him, huh?
Well, hey.
Do you have a little trouble with his last name?
No, Troy Polamalu. No problem there.
I can't lie.
I don't have his hair. I can say that.
When I'm doing media, I sometimes just say Big Ben.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good. I usually when I'm typing it because I can't spell it, so I'll just go Big Ben with that one. But the Steelers, they do score. I mean, this defense. I mean, there's been several games this year where the Steeler defense actually scored more than the offense. I mean, we know that. Another part of this is special teams. We get a bonus here on this part. The Steelers, as good as they've been the last, forever, one Achilles heel that always seems to, pop up and rear its ugly head every once in a while is a special teams breakdown. Where
this season, they've only had one, and it was against the Jets.
A kickoff for a touchdown. And then the playoff game, they did have one go that actually got called back against Baltimore on a questionable holding call that was away from the play. It wasn't, it wasn't the difference in the touchdown. So, I mean, we look at what we see. So it's another part of the game where we can get a score. But the third part of this is where we can possibly have a defensive score is the Pittsburgh offensive line. It's official. Pouncey's out. Okay, so we got Legarski that's going to be the center. They've had to juggle offensive positions all year on that offensive line. Dom Capers is going to come with some different schemes to try to confuse the Steeler line. So he's going to give them some looks during this game that they haven't seen. If we have a breakdown on the offensive line, you do have the possibility of a clean shot on Ben, and I know that Ben is a hard guy to bring down, but, there is the possibility
I got it. Here's why I don't like this.
Okay.
I was listening to Jay Cornegay on a podcast, actually, with Chad Millman on ESPN. Quite good. Chad's been a friend of pregame. And he talked about how there's a psychology to prop bettors, that the public has a certain psychology. And what that is they like to get plus money back, especially in something that feels like it can happen. Like a safety. Hey, you might get plus 800 on that, though statistically it's not a good bet. It feels like, hey, I've seen safeties before, and then, hey, I bet 100 and win 800. Here's an example where every square in the country is thinking like you. Hey, I saw Troy intercept against Cincinnati. And who's to say this? Who's to say that? And I'm getting plus 145. It just feels like that maybe you're making a case right now, a valid one, that this game is more likely to have a defensive TD or special teams TD than an average game. I defer to you on that, and I agree with you on that. Here's the question, though. Is it able to overcome the premium that they're putting on this because they know the public wants to bet yes? And I don't think it's adjusted that much.
I can't.
You're on the square side here.
Well, we'll see. I like getting. I'm happy with getting 145 back.
Are you going down Circus and put this bet in with the other people playing this?
No, I'll be doing it at GVR. So I'll tell them. I'll come in with my
Why don't you do this? Why don't you announce it before you say, hey guys, I'm betting plus on the defensive TD. Who's going to join me? And then you hear a big cheer go up and the line form behind you.
this is one, that I hope Troy gets.
Are you starting to say you don't like it as much?
No, I'm not saying no. I'm saying, you're going to be hearing from me on Sunday as Troy streaking down the sideline.
Well, I would be happy about that. Any closing thoughts?
No, that's what I'm looking at on prop bet number 2. We're going to take the third.
I'll book you on this. You want to do this?
You want to book it? It's not, I am free rolling with you.
You're right. This is not a pure handicap, so I'm going to do it. So what do you want to do? You want to do? I'll even give you plus 150 just to do the math real simply. 300 wins you 450.
All right.
All right. You can continue the conversation in the comment section with Marco and me. And next up, we're getting Marco's third prop, and I've got a feeling that it's going to be a little bit better.